Hey friends, I'm Michael Nocny. I'm a producer, songwriter, and mixing engineer, and I'm here with Looptrotter and Plugin Alliance to give you a quick walkthrough of their first and long-anticipated plugin, the Saturate. Alright, so let's get right into it, and here it is. I'm just gonna slap it real quick on the mix bus to show you guys what this thing can actually do, and then we're gonna dive into more details. And as an example, I'm going to be using a song by Ellie River. The song is called High Road.
You did me dirty for the very last time. I'm done cleaning up all of your lies. Called up my girls to ask what I should do to get over you. Carrie told me I could slash your ties. Miranda said to set your house on fire. You know if I did, I'd be justified. But I'ma take the high road. Watch me as I go. Honey, no, I won't DM your friends. Tell them how low that you can get them on the high road. There's one thing I know. The old me would've done you dirty right back, but the new me ain't got time for that. I'm on the high road.
Alright, well, it's pretty impressive, to be honest. I have not had too much time to have fun with it yet, but the one main reason why I love the hardware so much is because it brings everything to life. And that was the main goal for this plugin as well. And I'll dive in deeper into the details because, of course, it's a little bigger. It takes 3 spaces kind of on the screen. But the main thing for this, and probably many people that connect with older records, is because they seem very organic. They seem very live. They seem very musical for some reason, which, in my humble opinion, gets lost sometimes in the digital domain. And obviously we have a song that has a lot of organic instrumentation here. So we have acoustic guitars. We have a beat that has a mix of 808 kick layered with a pillow being punched and mic'd, obviously. We have some 808 claps and some slap pre-delays on it, and then we have vocals, and we have some slide guitars, I think some steel guitars as well, that have a lot of space. So what I'm going to try to do is to drop the plugin on each group and see how the plugin would interact with all those groups, what artifacts going to be brought up, what is going to show up, what kind of harmonic is going to pop up. And I think that's going to be the main thing, because this is the main reason why we're going to use this plugin, is to hear how much excitement we can get out of the record. And this is already sounding great. Like it's vibey, it keeps you moving, but you don't really know what's missing until you drop the plugin on it. So this is one of those plugins that you just leave it on forever and you don't want to ditch it. So let's dive into the details.
But I'ma take the high road. Watch me as I go. Honey, no, I won't DM your friends. Tell them how low that you can get them on the high road. There's one thing I know. The old me would've done you dirty right back, but the new me ain't got time for that. I'm on the high road. But I'ma take the high road. Watch me as I go. Honey, no, I won't DM your friends. Tell them how low that you can get them on the high road. There's one thing I know. The old me would've done you dirty right back, but the new me ain't got time for that. I'm on the high road.
Okay, well, that sounds pretty amazing already, and I haven't really done much yet. The only thing that I've actually done is I moved the drive a little bit up. The drive is responsible for how much signal is being let into the plugin. I mean, it's moduled after the hardware, and the hardware, from what I know, has a lot of gain in it. So it was designed to revive quiet audio sources. You know, certain audio samples and recordings don't have enough signal in them. So obviously you will bring some noise floor up. But I never worried about that. I like noisy recordings. they have something going on. There's always something interesting that we can bring out. And the plugin, using the drive, I just use like maybe 25% for now. Already brought some excitement. And at the same part of the plugin, if you look, there is right above the process switch, there's 4% and 8% of saturation. The THD processing, it's not clipping or anything. It's just showing you that the plugin is actually working. The drive is actually working. So you can fine tune how much of the drive, how hot the certain audio sample can be. So you can revive audio samples or sources that are not very loud or they don't have enough going on in there. The next thing I definitely wanted to use, especially on vocals, is because the saturate works as a kind of as a soft limiter in a way, there is these two functions here, which are the THD filters, and they allow you to bypass the low frequencies because there's usually a lot of information in there. So when you saturate them, things may become a little bit muddy or a little heavy, and in vocals you don't really want that. You want clarity. You want them to be cutting through the rest of the mix. So you can definitely flip that on. So the low save function saves the low. And what is a big difference compared to the hardware, you can actually adjust the frequency, you can actually adjust the filter in what it's doing without having it fixed. So it is adjustable. Same with high smooth. What it does, it just makes highs smooth when you add even a little bit too much saturation. Sometimes, you want to go for it. If you're working on a rock record, if you're working on something that needs to be very aggressive and punchy, you can definitely use that and adjust your frequency of the top end and make it, maybe not aggressive, but make it definitely audible, make it a little bit more exciting without making it harsh. And this is one of the things that the hardware is very good at. It definitely makes the mid-range more defined, which is what you want on vocals. But also, especially these days, modern records, modern vocal processing has a lot of top end, a lot of this air, sparkly, shiny thing going on. And it is very easy to overdo it. With this function, high smooth function, it makes it a little bit more balanced and a little bit more pleasant to listen to. Next thing that we want to move to is the overall mix. And that's nothing else than parallel mix. It just defines how much processing you have in the overall chain. So even with just, let's see, 3%, and let's go back to the vocals and let me quickly replay that little part we were working on right here.
You did me dirty for the very last time. I'm done cleaning up all of your lies. Called up my girls to ask what I should do to get over you. Carrie told me I could size your ties. Miranda said to set your house on fire.
It starts to really shine like above 50, and I never use it under 50, to be honest. I just like a little bit too much of everything, maybe. But if you can have it, and if it works, why not? It's not going to be harsh. It's not going to be aggressive, especially on vocals. Like, you want them to be present. And for this record, especially, there's not a lot of production going on. So the vocals need to have room to shine. They need to pop. They need to stand out. It's a very melodic, very vibey song. So like, you want to keep that and emphasize that. And this really gets me really exciting is the magic feature that's right here. And it was originally taken out of the summing box made by Looptrotter. And lovely folks at Plugin Alliance took it and squeezed it into the plugin. And it's emulation of a old school transformer that could be found in old analog consoles and tape machines. It kind of reminds a tape machine, just a little bit more exciting probably. So that was taken out, and now what you can do, you can actually adjust how much of that you want in your chain. All right, so we already have a little bit of processing from this plugin going on vocals, but now let's a little bit more magic to it, see what happens.
You did me dirty for the very last time. I'm done cleaning up all of your lies. Called up my girls to ask what I should do to get over you. Carrie told me I could size your ties. Miranda said to set your house on fire.
Well, that's pretty awesome. It makes them pop even more. And of course, now you can blend how much of that you want in the record. So let's see if we can maybe bring those vocals gently down and see what happens when we just listen to the rest of the stuff but processing only on vocals.
You did me dirty for the very last time. I'm done cleaning up all of your lies. Called up my girls to ask what I should do to get over you. Carrie told me I could slice your ties. Miranda said to set your house on fire. You did me dirty for the very last time. I'm done cleaning up all of your lies. Called up my girls to ask what I should do to get over you. Carrie told me I could slice your ties. Miranda said to set your house on fire.
They almost disappear when it's actually not happening, when the plugin is not working. And yeah, someone may say, yeah, but you're overdoing it and using it too much. Hey man, like, you can use it however you want. I personally like to hear what it does. This is the first reason why I'm actually using it. And these days, most of the records, with so many records being released on a daily basis, there must be a reason, there must be a way that you have to pursue and make them stand out. If you don't have access to a studio with thousands of dollars of gear, but you're working out of your small home setup, that doesn't mean that you cannot put out great records. You absolutely can. And I think this is the proof that even with vocals, just vocals, I'm not even processing anything else right now. Maybe let's move on to a couple other things and we can slap that thing on guitars and see what happens with the guitars. All right, so now let's focus on the next thing I want to show you. And the next feature is called the gain compensation. And it is very easy to say that something sounds better or it's more exciting when it's just louder. That's how our ears work. But lovely people at Plugin Alliance built in a gain compensation feature that helps you determine a little bit more precisely what the saturation is actually doing, which frequencies are actually getting saturated without jumping at you too much and being too aggressive. Right now, I'm gonna keep working on the guitar part because I think there's a lot of elements, there's a lot of transients, there's a lot of wood picking, string picking stuff, there is some additional reverbs and slides and whatnot. So I think that's a good example to actually show you what this thing does, okay? So right now we have drive at around, 30-ish%. We have mix at around 60-ish, 70%, and a little bit of not a little bit of magic, 75% of magic. So that adds a lot of gain. That adds a lot of stuff in processing. So we have two choices here. We have gain compensation for the drive, and we have gain compensation for magic because they both together add a lot. So let me switch it off for now and just bypass it. And let's listen to the guitars and see how that feature works. There's two stages of that, so listen. So you can hear it's working. It's not compression or anything like that. It's just, think of it as in and out. So there's more signal in, so there's gonna be a little bit less out. And there's another feature that helps with that. But this particular feature was designed to help your ear determine what is actual saturation doing and what the plugin is actually doing versus what we think is better because it's just louder. All right, so now we've covered vocals, we've covered mix bus, we've covered guitars, and I think the last thing that I want to do is to focus on the beat a little bit. So let's see when we drop the plugin on the drum bus and see what happens. So let's get right into it. All right, so I'm not adding any magic to it yet. I'm not playing with the stereo width just yet. I have an idea that they could benefit, especially higher frequencies, could benefit from making them gently wider and having the kick and the lower frequencies more tucked in the middle. But that's just a little bit of saturation right now without not really much else. And I think what we can also do is we can switch into a mid-side mode, because that's something that can be very beneficial when it comes to drums, when it comes to mix bus especially.
You can try to get under my skin, but I won't give you that satisfaction. I don't need to add to the drama. It's bad enough, you gotta go tell your mama. Yeah, I'ma leave the gunpowder in bed. You know my girl already said it best. These boots are made for. You can try to get under my skin, but I won't give you that satisfaction. I don't need to add to the drama. It's bad enough, you gotta go tell your mama.
Oh yeah, I was just playing with it. But mid-side is something that we don't really have access to it in the analog domain. Hardware doesn't have that. It's only left and right. And you could probably hear when I was adjusting the sides, and there's two ways of actually adjusting how wide you want the sound to be. And that's Brainworks, that's Plugin Alliance greatest hits, which is the stereo width and the mono maker. So you can use those two features to widen up your mix or widen up your claps or whatever audio you're working with, especially with some ambience going on. But you can keep the lower frequencies right in the middle where you want them. But what you can also do, you can manipulate the stereo field with these levels here. So once you flip into the mid-side mode from left to right to mid-side, you can see that these changed into mid and side processing. So you can actually adjust the levels for mid and side separately. So that's how you can also play with the stereo field. All right, guys, I think we covered pretty much most of it. I'm very excited for you to try the plugin. It is as exciting as the hardware, in my opinion. And just have fun with it. Slap it on your mix bus, slap it on your guitars and your drums and your vocals, and just see what it does. Go ahead and try it and let me know what you guys think about it.
Ain't got time for that, I'm on a high road.